the channel, everybody. My name is Ross. It says so right here. I got my shirt on that I got from the Ford dealer. This video, tips that I learned being a professional mechanic and how that's helped me in my TaskRabbit gig work. So I kept the shirt. I found it, it's laying around. I was like, oh, I got an extra shirt. Look at that. And that's the first tip I want to give you is having. I actually had a shirt made. It's the gray shirt that I wear in some of my videos, and that shirt I made for YouTube. For doing my YouTube mechanic stuff. Had a couple patches made. My mother-in-law sewed everything on. I ironed the stuff on. It didn't work out so well, but this is good. Not just because it has my name on it. It has Ford on it now, but this is how you don't get your clothes destroyed. All right. So just sometimes I'll just wear a t-shirt. I know summer's coming and it's going to be hot, but my Jeff Beck guitar shop shirt, yeah, that thing got ripped. Yeah, it's got a little hole in it now. And I just bought that shirt not too long. It's like $20. It's a great shirt. That's why it's good. That's why mechanics wear uniforms, so you don't get your clothes destroyed. Another thing cool about having this shirt is this pocket. Some things I always have with me. I have a flashlight in my pocket. I usually have this on me all the time. It's also a mechanic thing. So my first Master Tech gave me one of these flashlights. This is a different flashlight, and I'll put a link in the description because this is rechargeable. Like I don't have to keep putting AA's or AAA's in it. I can just plug it into a USB in my car here and charge it up. Awesome. Love that. I usually have a pocket knife on me at all times. Just because a pocket knife is a great tool. You're working with tools. Pocket knife, great. Something I didn't have as a mechanic, but I do have now, is I'll wear a tool belt. I got a tool belt with everything I need right around my waist, so I'm not searching around in a toolbox or on the floor trying to find something. It's in my tool belt, especially doing, wall stuff and working on ceiling light fixtures and fans. You're up on a step stool and you're getting up and down and off that. I have a magnet that I carry. It's in my tool belt, but it's something that us mechanics will use to find you drop a screw or a socket or something and fish around for it. I have a magnet like that in my tool belt, so like when I'm disconnecting or I'm taking screws apart on like a light fixture or a fan, I'll put those screws on that magnet and it holds them in place, right? I have two of them. I have a high-powered one, and then I have a little small one that I can reach into its places with. But yeah, both of them hold on to screws pretty well. And my bits, Phillips, Torx, or Allen, or Hex, right? All these bits, and I can use the magnet for that as well. But yeah, having this shirt for that reason is great. And doing electrical stuff, I always have my tester on me at all times. I have a couple of these. This is my cheapy one. It's easy to see. It's orange. I got that at Harbor Freight. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. But another great tool. This also has a magnet on it. It's not the greatest. It flips around, so I can pull this bit out. It's a Phillips. It's a flats. So that's my first tip. The second one that I learned is booking time. All right, so a lot on this gig work, you're booking time for different tasks. TaskRabbit lets you set your, how much you should make. And in the beginning, it's pretty low because you don't have any reviews yet. It's hard to get started when you don't have, photos and stuff you can show people and a good list of reviews for them to see. So you start out low and you book your time, but even starting out low, you got to know how long it takes to do stuff. And that's where I got hung up in the beginning. It just defaults to like a half hour or something in TaskRabbit. I'm not sure why, but that made it confusing for me. So knowing how long it takes to do things, and also watching other YouTubers. So I watched my friend Nesto, and Nesto's like, yeah, it's an hour and a half to book, I book an hour and a half to do a TV. My Kind of Economical is another TaskRabbit sort of tasker gig worker channel I follow, and the Handywoman. She was talking about, I commented on one of her things. She does a lot of IKEA furniture assembly. I've only done 2 of those tasks, and the second one was a disaster. It wasn't a disaster that I didn't complete the task, I didn't do a good job. I did a great job. It just took way longer than I thought it was going to. And the customer wasn't real clear on how long it should take to do things, and just wanted me to do a whole bunch of stuff in a short period of time. And I'm like, we'll take it as it goes. So yeah, putting together this piece of furniture took 2 hours. And she said, yes, I scheduled 2 hours for any kind of, desk or piece of furniture that comes from an IKEA. It wasn't even IKEA. It was like Walmart. Who this person bought this from, and it was complicated, and like 100,000 screws and parts, and it just took forever. So, and that's the only 1 4-star review I have so far. I've got like over 60 5-star reviews, 1 4-star review, and it was from that person, because I didn't understand the scope of how long it would take to put that thing together. I mean, I've done some of this kind of furniture assembly, but holy smokes, that thing was crazy. But yeah, she was saying 2 hour minimum. 2 hour minimum on 1 piece of furniture like that. All right, so that's smart. And if I got that second, if I knew that ahead of time, I should have, right? This is what's great about YouTube, is you get to glean information and learn things that I don't know from other people who've been doing this longer than I have, like Nesto and the gal from My Kind of Economical. When it comes to booking time, a lot of people have an unrealistic view on how long it really takes to do things, right? Like, that's true. So in the chat area, you gotta communicate with people well, because people are going to say, I want this done, I want this done, I want this done. Okay, you ask more questions and think in your head like you're there, and how long that's going to take. A GFI outlet, I'll do an hour on each one of those. A normal outlet, I book an hour. If they just want one thing done, or 1 light fixture put up, I book an hour and a half. I'll book an hour and a half for a light fixture. I'll book like 2 hours for a ceiling fan, for example. Again, especially if the ceiling fan's right out of the box, because you got to put that thing together. I mentioned that in the last video, but that's time. That's booking time, realizing how long things are going to take. And sometimes, sometimes I'll book over, and then I'll tell people that in the chat. I don't always tell people that, but a lot of times I will. I'll say, listen, it's probably not going to take me this long, and I'm not going to charge you if it doesn't, right? If I tell you it's going to take 4 hours, and I do it in 3 hours, I'm only going to charge you 3 hours. But I need 4 hours cleared in my calendar to make sure that TaskRabbit isn't putting more jobs behind this one, right? So I can finish your task and make sure it's done. But we have to agree that it may take 4 hours. If we can agree that it may take 4 hours, then I will book this task. I tell people that. And when they confirm and say, okay, if so facto, just in case, I will pay the 4 hours, then I book the task. And that's another thing. If I get in a place where I'm not going to be able to finish the task, I'm going to tell the customer, and we can reschedule. Or if I get in a fix where I had an electrical job that I did something, I can't remember what it was. It was a light fixture thing. I had to take the light fixture down and reconnect something, and it took a little longer. I didn't charge them for that time. That's another thing I learned from being a mechanic. When we book a job, like when the service manager tells a person, all right, it's going to take an hour and a half to change a serpentine belt, that mechanic is paid based on that hour and a half. If it takes him 3 hours, he's still going to get paid an hour and a half. And that's fair. because it shouldn't take 3 hours, unless you run into other stuff, and then you would book time for that. Like listen, what happened is your air conditioner broke, causing your belt to break. So if somebody's AC unit seizes up, or their power steering or something like that causes a belt to break, then that's another task using the task word, and then you book more time for that. So yeah, you learn to write stories too, and that's the next tip that I want to give you. Is when I worked at Ford, every time we finished a job, based on the work we did, and in each task we would sign in and sign out of. So you do a task, you sign out. You do a task, you sign in. And then at the end of it, when we fixed their car, we wrote a story based on what we did. For example, the serpentine belt, right? Like, customer came in, needed serpentine belt replaced, serpentine belt broke. Discovered while changing serpentine belt, the water pump had seized up and caused the serpentine belt to break. Needed to replace water pump, right? Contacted the customer about that. You need a water pump, replace serpentine belt, performed the task. So how would this apply in TaskRabbit? For example, I had a situation where I went to a client's house. They had a wonky outlet in their bathroom, and it was kind of fried, to be honest with you. And part of something I know about electricity, and having a neighbor who was an electrician who helped me wire my basement, my upstairs, there should always be a GFI outlet in the bathroom. So this person had purchased a normal outlet, and I said I could replace it with that, but that's not code. Like, to be up to code, you need a GFCI circuit, like outlet plug, in your bathroom next to your sink. And then I explained to them that odds are the reason this burnt is probably somebody dropped a curling iron or a hair dryer, which can be extremely dangerous. That's why GFCI, right, outlets, which have their own little circuit breaker on them, that's why those were invented. So I wrote, and it was a busy day, so I had an hour for this, and I did charge them the hour. I charged them to diagnose the problem and say, listen, this is what you need. I could run to Home Depot real quick and get you one, or we could schedule this for a later date. And they didn't have a problem with that. So I actually scheduled it for a later date, and I put in the GFCI outlet. And in the chat, so because I felt bad that I couldn't complete the task, in the chat I said, went to customer's house. I explained it like a story, like I would at the Ford dealership. So not only can TaskRabbit see that, like if you have to cancel a task, or if you get a lower rating than you need to, like TaskRabbit will review these things, and that's good. And a client can't ask you to do something illegal, for example, and if they give you a bad review for that, like that could be a bad thing. So basically that's what I did, is I replaced the GFC. They actually went and bought another GFC outlet. Number 8 in the list is the most important one. All right, it's something I learned working at a car dealership, working as a mechanic, really throughout my life, changing careers when I needed to, right, is gratitude. Why did I become a mechanic? Why did I want to work on cars? Because I like cars, all right? I didn't mind the work. It's work, it's hard, it's puzzle solving, it's something good. It felt good to me, that work, and finishing that day at the job, So my 8th one is more of a philosophical thing. It's gratitude. Being grateful that you get to do what you do. I got paid, I just booked a task for $64 an hour. I've never been paid that much per hour in my lifetime, and I'm 53 years old, right? So I'm very grateful for this job that I have now. If you want to call it a job, it's more of a business. This business opportunity. I'm always leery and suspicious when people start saying, "I've got a business opportunity where you can really rise to your full potential." You know, it's funny. Folks at Ford said that. It's like, no, I'm out. But gratitude. It's not just for the work you do. It's for the life you have. My stepbrother married a woman from Ukraine, and her family, a lot of her family's still over there, and you know, they don't know where some of their family members are, and just the things that can happen in this world. The fact that I'm born here in the rainy Seattle area of the United States of America, like I'm grateful for the life I have, and that makes me want to help and have a different attitude towards other people, and you know, even towards the work I do. So, not to get too woo-woo or fluffy or self-help on you, but that's my number one tip, piece of advice that I learned from being a mechanic, even, is gratitude. Like, I was grateful to be able. I worked on a Lotus. Like, I've worked on some really cool cars in my short-lived mechanic career, and just having that attitude. You know, the attitude of gratitude. You gotta have that, right? I've heard that before. That sounds cliche, and it is cliche when you just say it as a thing. But when you devour that, and when you live in that, and when you breathe it in, and just look at the life you have and go, yeah, I'm pretty fortunate, really. The less depression, the less complaining and whining, and so hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you want to. If you don't, that's fine, but it helps. I'm grateful for all my subscribers and people who like this video. Tremendously grateful. Not to minimize gratitude, because it is something I need to practice. It's not just something that comes to me naturally as a guy who loves punk and grunge rock, who came born in a rainiest place in the freaking world practically. I'm grateful for all of who've watched this video up to this point, especially. Hey, some outtakes. Check this out. And there's the State Patrol. I'm driving Vicky. It's another nice thing about my life today. Not driving the G6 today. I'm like, oh, I see red lights, blue lights. It's just Vicky in a van. She doesn't go that fast. I don't wind her up over $2,000. There they are. Uh-oh, somebody's getting a ticket. It's not me, thank God.